Hello everyone and now welcome to a game between Dise and Hipposaur. This game taking place here on Tide Hunters. Gonna go ahead and speed up to 8 times speed, get to that 2-minute mark, and then start the game as Dise opening up with Keeper of the Grove. Meanwhile, Hipposaur opening up with Archmage. No big surprises there. All right, 2-minute mark has reached. Archmage gonna call over Militia, go after the Sea Giant, and let's see this game get underway. Keeper of the Grove, no surprise, using an Ancient of War and Archer to clear up these early creep camps. Ancient of War just absorbing quite a bit of damage, and well, that will all get healed by the power of the forest. Coming back around, Archmage finishes things off, gonna easily take down that water elemental, not wanting to give any bonus experience as the Wisp gonna get taken out, not even detonated in time as the Archmage makes its way off to the north here. Dise not on top of that Wisp near at all, as a second water elemental should be dropped here. Militia gonna be joining in on the battle as well. There is that water elemental now getting summoned in. Militia trying to add in damage without taking too much damage themselves, and going to finish off these snare casters. Archmage is at level 2, quick Brilliance Aura to get some of that bonus mana, picking up a Circlet of Nobility as well, and we'll see if there's an expansion attempt underway. Meanwhile, looking at Dise off to the north, we are already getting into an expansion attempt by Dise, and this does mean that we are looking perhaps at, well, a long-term game, both sides opting to go for expansions, and when both sides go for expansions, we generally see a much more, well, longer game because no one is investing in a large enough army to flat out destroy their opponent just quite yet. Peasants trying to retreat and run away. More treants are going to get taken out. Can this peasant go and run inside the gold mine? That is the question right there, as a treant does end up getting taken down. Back down to the south here, Keeper of the Grove has enough mana to summon treants once more, and that is pretty much it. Or is he going to try to go for an entangle? What is going down across here? Archers coming in from the north. More treants are joining in on the battle. More peasants may be forced to be called on over as we are looking at the treants slowly getting pressured. One peasant gets taken down, and one peasant getting taken down. Another peasant could get taken down. There goes another one as well, as those 4 peasants quickly turn into 2, and 2 may quickly turn into 1 here if he is not careful, as Hipposaur is trying to just save this peasant off to the side. Triple peasants here repairing or trying to speed build this town hall. Meanwhile, a scout tower still not yet done, should be upgraded to an arcane tower as soon as it becomes available. Keeper of the Grove looking to retreat back. He does have Boots of Speed, Staff of Teleportation, and Claws of Attack +5. Those Claws of Attack +5 really opening up the amount of damage that Keeper of the Grove could deal early on. Meanwhile, we are looking at the Tree of Life, for some reason not entangling the gold mine yet, and this is just one of those situations where, well, you have to be on top of everything. If you are not aware, oh, perhaps the Tree of Life was not actually close enough to actually entangle that gold mine. Thank you for the follow. Needed a Wisp to perhaps give it a little bit of sight, or just was outside of range, as we're looking at the Keeper of the Grove getting an entangle off onto one of those footmen. Level 2 entangle could deal certain death to that footman as he just simply stands there. One footman going to get shut down here, and that's just going to continue to give more and more experience as well, as a second entangle gets taken down. All right, was that a deny? Yes, it was a deny there. We should be looking at a potential another denial right there, as well as the Keeper of the Grove looking to teleport away. So far, a little bit of experience being given back to that Keeper of the Grove. Meanwhile, the Tree of Life trying to entangle that gold mine, going to be a little bit lost here. Multiple detonations finishing off, removing all of that precious mana, as the Water Elemental looks to finish off this entangled gold mine before it can get completed. Keeper of the Grove still has a good amount of mana there. Are we going to see an Archer get taken down? Yes, it is. Meanwhile, Footman could get lost in the foray as well, as there goes another footman there. All right, one more footman down to 38 hit points. That one is denied. Another entangle goes down, and both sides are losing large amounts of units, but Hipposaur still has a decent sized army, 19 supply army compared to 11. Multiple entangles, however, and that means that Dise fighting close to home, benefiting from the Ancient of Wonders, being able to use a potion of mana for, well, all of these entangles to shut things down, is really taking a bit of a bigger bite out of Hipposaur than what originally would have been expected. Archmage, however, doing a great job denying experience. Hipposaur perhaps has killed more footmen than Dise has in this match. Have I ever been? Yes, I have been in collaboration. I've talked with back to WarCraft as well, Neo and Remo, um, and we got to actually meet up at DreamHack Anaheim over a bit over a year ago. But thank you for the kind words. Dise now making its way back off to the north here. We are looking Blacksmith, Arcane Vault coming together here at Pocket Factory. Going to get pressured in, and it looks as though this Tinker is not going to be able to do very much. Archmage tries to run on by again, and we see the Keeper of the Grove continuing to use Clarity Potions and Potions of Mana very effectively to trade off against these, footmen. All right, needs 75 more mana, or 75 total mana. Is he going to be able to get it off there? No, he is not. Archmage quick to stop any more mana regeneration from that Arcane Vault, as Dise now putting in pressure with that Pocket Factory once more. Arcane Tower trying to cover, trying to deal bonus damage to all of those, all of those treants, all of those summoned units by nature, as the Archmage looking to pick up perhaps a scroll of regeneration, to heal up all of these units who are just hanging in the back. I heard Korean pro gamers watch this space now. I saw one Korean pro gamer watch this space, but that was pretty much it. If they actually watch this space more and more for actual strategy, that would, I don't know, that would pretty much amaze me as well. But then again, thank you for the kind words. That's all I can really say. Keeper of the Grove, able to Staff of Teleportation back home, down at 65 hit points. Meanwhile, off to the north here, Dise mining away with no real trouble. All right. Earlier, I said that we were going to be expecting a long game. I wasn't expecting a lot, the amount of fighting that we've seen between both sides already. Both sides really putting heavy pressure on each other instead of going after the creeps, which I thought would have been a much, much easier way to try and get to level 3 first. Archmage now has a Panda fighting alongside him as Hipposaur brings in Breath of Fire across all of those Wisp. The Wisp now need to go ahead and retreat back, taking quite a bit of damage. Footman looking to take down that Tree of Life as well. Repairs are going to get underway as the Keeper of the Grove comes over to try and offer a bit of protection. The Panda, however, with the threat of Breath of Fire, able to stop many of those wisps. There's some detonations. Are we going to see Breath of Fire? No, we are not, as the Panda is now out of mana, as we are looking at the Dryads now coming in to join in on the battle. Who's going to be able to deal more damage? Archmage down to 89, down to 80 hit points, going to be forced to retreat. However, the Tree of Life not going to get repaired enough, and all of those units able to teleport back. Hipposaur with a big, big victory there, taking down Dice's expansion and being able to cleanly get away. What is Dice's follow-up strategy going to be? He does have a decent army here, sitting on 25 supply compared to 33. He's going to try and bounce back, try to set up a Tree of Life. Meanwhile, what is Hipposaur going to do to try and capitalize on his advantage? Quickly going into low upkeep, but 52 over 54 supply is not how you really want to break into low upkeep at all. Trying to get that Brewmaster up to level 2 and level 3 is an important play at this point, as the Rock Golem and all of these Forest Trolls could get cleaned up. Keeper of the Grove ready for a bit more harassment, trying to summon up some treants. There goes 2 more there, as the Keeper of the Grove does have Orb of Venom. Alright, a potential Creepjack to turn the tide here, as one Mortar team quickly gets taken down, and now diving after all of those Priests as well. Panda back across over here. Goblin Pocket Clockwork Goblins now trying to make their way up the ramp. Keeper of the Grove gets up to level 4. Not going to be as big of a difference there, as Orb of Venom starting to eat away at the Brewmaster and some of those other units. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire on the Keeper of the Grove. He's trying to escape back down to 167 hit points. Archmage gets up to level 4 for level 2 Brilliance Aura, as the Panda now going to perhaps try and land a couple of Breath of Fires across multiple units. Rejuvenation on the Keeper of the Grove will keep him alive, as the Breath of Fire is going to be cancelled to buy a Scroll of Healing if the Keeper of the Grove uses it in time. Alright, there's Rejuvenation. Units are still trying to retreat back. Low hit point on Footman there, as there's that Scroll of Healing now being used. Low hit point Footman. How is he still alive in that battle for 2 hit points, as the Clockwork Goblin Explosion finishes him off. Keeper of the Grove down to 172 hit points. He's trying to retreat back. He's going to try and heal back up, as we see a massive retreat across all of the rest of the units here. Goblin Tinker gets up to level 3. Low hit point Druid of the Claw down to 174 hit points. And are we going to perhaps be looking at a, Boots of Speed, or sells one of the Gauntlets of Ogre Strength +3, picks up a Scroll of Healing, but well, without a Mountain King, is able to easily walk away without worries of any stuns. Have I seen Autumn Leaves 2.0? I have not. Haven't had the chance to study any of the maps as of late. As the Keeper of the Grove and the Goblin Tinker ready to push forward once more. Level 4, Level 2 going up against Level 4, Level 3. Archmage and Panda actually having a little bit of the economic advantage, as still Dise is trying to entangle that gold mine off to the north. Water Elemental offering free experience, however, not going to get cleaned up at all, as we're looking at another battle here. Dryad's going to go ahead and abolish magic. Mortar team's able to finish off or deal damage to many of those Dryads very, very easily, as we're now looking at a massive retreat back. Scroll of Healing is there. Are we going to be perhaps looking at a Staff of Preservation? Yes, Staff of Preservation teleporting the Keeper of the Grove all the way back home. That transfer there could have a Staff of Teleportation to come back in. No, the Staff of Teleportation was transferred to the or still on that Goblin Tinker. Now, those rockets do not stun for very long. It's an AoE rocket right there. Mortar team perhaps could have been stunned long enough, but really looking to get some entangles to try and poke down those mortar teams. High DPS, but also at the same time very, very fragile glass cannons. Mortar teams, because they are, well, biological units instead of mechanical units, get affected by Entangle, get affected by Death Coil, Frost Nova, any of those abilities, really racking up that damage. Yes, they do benefit from Holy Light and Priest as well, but it often feels like the only reason why they need healing is because they've taken that damage from some sort of ranged magic spell. I think EI is still in despite last. Well, yeah, that is Echo Isle being part of the map pool, but a lot of people thumbs it down. So the community still has a voice. A lot of the pro players in tournaments also remove it from play as well. I'm just not liking that particular matchup all that much. Keeper of the Grove, it could be in a little bit of trouble looking to back away. Does have double scrolls of healing, should give one to the Goblin Tinker to try and, well, share all of that cooldown around. All right, a big pocket rocket pockets right, or pocket rockets right there. Cluster rockets able to stun down many of those units, as the Keeper of the Grove and that Goblin Tinker ready to, well, get into a bit of an engagement. Amazonia's out? Oh, wow. That actually surprises me. Amazonia is out, but they kept Echo Isle. All right, yeah. That surprises me. Goblin Tinker now making its way back off to the north here. Once more, Bears trying to get within range. Mortar teams able to, or it looks like they're going to be able to finish off this Tree of Life very easily. And once again, Hipposaur able to deal destructive damage to Dice's expansion here. Archmage does still have a Scroll of Town Portal. Both sides trying to transfer damage across, as the Mortar teams are able to just splash all of that damage across multiple units pretty easily. But it was actually attacking the Archer instead of attacking the Dryad. A lot of low hit point Bears here. Scroll of Healing still on the Keeper of the Grove. And all of those bears, this is the situation where the Goblin Tinker should have been holding on to that second Scroll of Healing. You can see how much damage can just be transferred right there. Finally going to get that Scroll of Healing off, but it may have been too little, too late, as one bear already taken down. More rockets trying to come in, get across more stuns. 53 supply compared to 66. Mortar teams getting in damage here. Keeper of the Grove trying to finish things off, as the Goblin Tinker, well, continuing to fight their way through. Archmage sitting at level 5. Bear down to 101 hit points. Looks like it's going to get taken down as well as it falls. 42 supply compared to 58. Keeper of the Grove sitting at level 5. Goblin Tinker sitting at level 4 compared to a level 5 and almost level 4 Brewmaster. With this said, though, there is only 10 minutes of mining on that expansion and only 7 minutes of mining there. Breath of Fire catching a Druid of the Claw in Druid form. However, the Brewmaster could be in a little bit worse for wear. Does not get stunned. All right, the Brewmaster now trying to retreat back here. Goblin Tinker and the Keeper of the Grove able to retreat away. Brewmaster gets to level 4 during that encounter. And now we're looking at Hipposaur setting up a proxy Arcane Vault in the middle of the map. Hi from France Crota, nice to finally see you on live. Gooflox, or thank you for turning in. I don't know why I said it like that. as we're looking at Dryads now continuing to make their way back. All right, in comes a bit of a stun. It looks as though one Mortar team easily taken down. Scroll of Healing just a split second late right there. Entango's now coming through another cluster of rockets, and Hipposaur's army suddenly in trouble as we see Staff of Preservation saving another Goblin Tinker right there. 42 supply compared to 63. It feels like whenever Dice's army starts to get a bit smaller than Hipposaur, and Hipposaur has the size advantage, Dice starts to use his smaller army much more efficiently and effectively and able to take down more units. Thank you for the sub there, as the Keeper of the Grove and the Goblin Tinker take a bit of a rest. All right, Hipposaur does have multiple Spellbreakers, Priest, and Mortar teams ready to push on through. Brewmaster, Clarity Potion, Archmage, no Clarity Potion, Rock Golem, well, walking away right there. The Brewmaster could try and inch towards level 5 a little bit more off of the creeps. Meanwhile, Goblin Tinker looking to get an engagement. There is that backline stun across the Riflemen, Sorceresses, and Priest, as the Goblin Tinker now looking to retreat back. Dryad's actually in an awkward position as bears now come in suddenly from the side. Dice saving a handful of bears earlier on, able to heal them back up. All right, more attacks getting underway. Dryads going straight after those Mortar teams, finishing them off quickly and trying to finish off that back line. All of a sudden, these Priests are taking quite a bit of damage. Spellbreakers are just completely being ignored as the low hit point Priest able to retreat back here. Goblin Tinker going to go ahead and use those cluster rockets to focus down a couple more of those units, as the Spellbreakers are just being ignored, not really trying to be countered, just countering all of the other remaining units instead. Keeper of the Grove making its way back off to the north here. Bear trying to figure out a way to try and heal back up. Goblin Tinker doing a quick run by, and the amount of Spellbreakers is definitely going to be the problem. The cluster rockets doesn't do anything to them, as we're now going to be looking at level 3 cluster rockets to try and get in some more or longer duration stuns and just more damage indeed. All of these Spellbreakers nearly maximum hit points, as we're seeing as many stuns go across. Dryads able to finish off the water elementals as more Mortar teams come onto the battlefield, only to quickly get destroyed, and they could just get taken down very easily. There goes another bear right there. Orb of Venom looking to finish off another group of units. There's another round of stuns, as a Priest could easily get taken down. Dryad trying to create a little bit of separation, as well Dual Arcane Sanctum still trying to crank out more and more of those Priests indeed. All right, a little bit of slow poison damage. There goes another, as the Keeper of the Grove gets up to level 6. Level 6 Keeper of the Grove means Tranquility, and Tranquility gives the Keeper of the Grove such a powerful ability, being able to heal and an effective ability both in and out of combat. There's a Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, as the Keeper of the Grove is absorbing so much damage, but somehow still able to stay on top of his health. Meanwhile, Goblin Tinker going after some more units, able to finish some more things off again. And is that difference going to be enough? As the Goblin Tinker gets back up to full health, Staff now down to half health after the Tranquility. Another round of cluster rockets stunning the Brewmaster. Brewmaster is very close to level 5 now, as the Dryad now looks to back away. Still a lot of damage being transferred back and forth. Level 6, level 5 going up against nearly a level 6 Archmage. Archmage gets up to level 6, and then suddenly we have Mass Teleport as well, as the Goblin Tinker picks up a potion of healing in order to jump back into the fight. All right, Panda gonna go ahead and teleport back home. Panda only needs a little bit more experience to get to level 5 himself. Panda should be doing exactly that. Meanwhile, a Rifleman, not realizing that the battle is already ventured over a bit too far, and will get cleaned up nicely. Goblin Tinker sitting at level 5, using a Clarity Potion as well. Keeper of the Grove, well, Tranquility is once more back online, could easily heal up, and here we are looking into a little bit of damage. There goes an Entangle, Staff of Preservation, Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire going across multiple sides, adding in more damage over time. Panda trying to get in another, perhaps the Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire. There is another round of those cluster rockets dealing so much damage, as we now see Tranquility being used pretty heavily in order for the Goblin Tinker to be able to dive in easily. Panda now continuing to fight back here. Keeper of the Grove absorbing quite a bit of damage, but has to be careful, as we're looking at the Goblin Tinker still trying to finish off many of those Riflemen there. Another Rifleman getting taken down. Sorceress trying to finish off Dryads trying to finish off some of the Sorceress. Both sides not liking each other's back line, as the Dryads are slowly starting to pick off some of the other units. Hipposaur finishes off another Dryad as the Spellbreaker gets taken down, and now we have Dise, who has access to Robo Goblin on this Goblin Tinker. All right, Robo Goblin is one of those abilities that may not necessarily be the best for Dise, since he does become a mechanical unit. Becoming a mechanical unit means that he is still invulnerable to, say, Stormbolt and some of the other spell abilities, but the spell abilities that the Brewmaster bringing to the table, Breath of Fire still deals full damage to him. Yes, he could get repaired by Wisps, but at the same time, that still costs a bit of gold, as opposed to, say, using Tranquility and getting healed up by mana from the Keeper of the Grove. Still a crazy game across multiple sides here. Keeper of the Grove really needs a clarity potion. Scroll of Healing picked up there as well. They should be doing a little bit of a transfer, as the Keeper of the Grove should grab a clarity potion in order to, well, use Tranquility. You can see multiple low hit point Dryads who would really benefit from just a nice round of healing. Archmage is sitting at level 6, does not have mass teleport, instead opts to go for level 3 Brilliance Aura. On top of that, the main gold mines are nearly mined out, and the expansion is nearly mined out for Hipposaur as well. There is that Tranquility used both defensively and out of combat to get these Dryads back up to full hit points. Meanwhile, what the Goblin Tinker looking to perhaps finish off more of these units, as there is a bit of a retreat back. All right, one Spellbreaker going to have a very bad day indeed. Orb of Venom damage over time, adding in a little bit more as we see all of those units trying to retreat back. All right, Goblin Tinker could have a very bad day, gonna retreat back the other way. There goes a low hit point Priest after it barely escaped away from the Goblin Tinker, finding the wrong end of that Keeper of the Grove, or finding the wrong end of maybe of a spear of a Dryad. I guess there's no real wrong end of an attack from the Keeper of the Grove. It's not like there's a blunt end to his bird magic attack thing. Coming back through, Goblin Tinker going to line things up, takes a little bit more damage. There is a round of those cluster rockets stunning down many of those back units. Goblin Tinker could be in a little bit of trouble trying to finish off some units. There's another round as well, stunning down multiple units. Keeper of the Grove now in a little bit of trouble, actually low on mana, as the Spellbreakers are trying to feed back much of that mana there. Keeper of the Grove gets up to level 7 and does have access to Tranquility once more, as the unit's trying to retreat back off to the north. 28 supply compared to 50. Hipposaur has a major supply advantage and a major economic advantage, but has not been able to translate it into a victory and close out the game as of yet. Dice's smaller army, but seems to be rather efficient, now sitting at a level 7 Keeper of the Grove, level 6 Goblin Tinker with a handful of Dryads. Where are the remaining units? Tree of Eternity now trying to make its way over. Thank you for the follow, as the Panda and the Archmage are going to get ready to engage. There's the Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire. Dryad's going to perhaps try and retreat back. We'll be able to do exactly that, as the Tinker tries to line up another round of those cluster rockets onto that back line next to that Archmage. Instead goes into Robo Goblin form. All right, Robo Goblin form deals quite a bit of bonus damage to any buildings, but right now it does need to retreat and run back again. Movement speed is fast. It is trying to retreat all the way back. Are we going to be looking at a Tranquility or anything like that? There's the Tranquility right there. And does he benefit? Oh, he does benefit. All right, so Goblin Tinker gains the benefit of still gains the benefit of Tranquility. I thought it was considered a mechanical unit, since it could be. Maybe it has both of those abilities, allowing it to stay a bit strong. All right, Cluster Rocket, Staff of Preservation actually teleports him into the battle right there, as we're looking at a bit of damage now come across here. Goblin Tinker trying to bring the hammer home, finish off some of these other units, as we now see a line of Cluster Rockets once more. One low hit point Sorceress could easily get taken down. No, it is not going to get auto-attacked, as a line of Cluster Rockets now finding many of those Riflemen once again. Many of those Spellbreakers have not been added back in. Dryads are now trying to retreat back. Another round of Cluster Rockets, and that Goblin Tinker just simply won't fall down, as the Tree of Eternity is looking to do a little bit more fighting. All right, Goblin Tinker trying to retreat back, and Tree of Eternity looking to retreat away. Going to go back into normal form here, as the Tree of Eternity down to 1,300 hit points, just still trying to stay alive. 43 supply compared to 22, 28 supply army compared to 19, as the Tree of Eternity could end up getting taken down. Are we going to see the Goblin Tinker bring it back over, goes back into Robo Goblin, and is now ready for the engagement here. There's a line of cluster rockets as the peasants are dealing quite a bit of damage. The tree could just start eating up one of these Tree of Eternity, or the Tree of Eternity could start eating up one of the trees. Why isn't it doing so? As the battle is raging on across here, Tree of Eternity could end up getting taken down. Staff of Preservation trying to save the unit there, as the Dryad now teleports back home. No Tree of Eternity. Dise now unable to do any mining at all, as he does not have enough gold. 131 gold for Dise, and that is it. No way to really do any additional mining. May need to sell some of his items if he wants this game to go to continue and go long. Archmage still trying to retreat back here, as the Panda going to get in some extra damage. There goes a round of cluster rockets, as the Archmage battling up against a Dryad, able to finish it off. All right, there goes an Entangle. Archmage down to 19 hit points, ends up surviving right there, as the Goblin Tinker sees the entire human army, save for a Water Elemental and a couple of other units, retreat back. We could have a reveal coming across from Dise here. The gold mines are now done mining. No additional mining for anyone. What you see is what you get. A 13 supply army going up against a 21. All right, Moonwells may be the main difference. And then this is the March of the Treants here, as the Ancient of Lore is looking to join in on the battle. Ancient of Wind and Ancient of Wonders joining in on the battle as well. All right, comes in Goblin Tinker trying to come in, perhaps get some damage here. There is a Potion of Invulnerability used right there, as the Goblin Tinker, is he losing any bit of mana? No, he is not. He is still trying to retreat back. Dryad are still coming back across all over here, as the Goblin Tinker wants to go after the Archmage, but the Archmage able to slip away once more. Archmage trying to retreat back. Goblin Tinker may be able to get off some cluster rockets there. No, going after the Goblin, or going after some Priest instead. No entangles at all, as the Priest able to dive on inside, but with no real room for cover, it's going to easily get taken down. Keeper of the Grove and Goblin Tinker could easily get trapped inside here if they are not careful. Don't have that much mana going on for them either, as we're looking at damage onto the Rifleman going to get finished off, giving level 7 to the Goblin Tinker. 2 level 7 heroes going up a level 6 and a level 5. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, Staff of Preservation, as the Goblin Tinker is still sticking around in this battle, at least for a little while longer. Keeper of the Grove does not have a way to get back into the fray, and even if he does, may not want to, as he has no hit points and mana to really make a very big impact. Goblin Tinker sitting at level 7. Keeper of the Grove perhaps going to look to buy some additional items. There's a Clarity Potion as well. Thank you for the follow, as the Goblin Tinker looks to see what he can do. Peasants now doing a bit of long distance running to perhaps clear up this expansion to the south and then do long distance mining, as the Goblin Tinker is nearby here. Dise going to try and shut things down here. Keeper of the Grove is off over here as well, trying to get in a little bit of damage. There's a wand of mana stealing, and suddenly the Keeper of the Grove, who looks so strong momentarily, going to be in trouble. However, Archmage going to be more in trouble, as a line of cluster rockets and Archmage gets taken down. Now, Goblin Tinker, where is he going to try and run off to? He is in a bit of a trouble. Here comes in more stuns as well, as he's going to go ahead and use a Staff of Teleportation in order to get out. Earth, Storm, and Fire completed for the Panda. Keeper of the Grove was lost, and now the Goblin Tinker going after some of the blacksmiths and some of these other buildings here. Goblin Tinker having a very difficult time, does have decent regeneration, surprisingly, as he was able to get away. Meanwhile, one mortar team off to the north here, going to clear things up. This is turning into an absolute base race scenario, as the peasants are trying to retreat back with Hipposaur, and now in comes the Goblin Tinker. All right, Goblin Tinker, wow, big stuns across the board here. Going to try and finish off more of those units. Losing that Keeper of the Grove was actually a very, very big deal, as another round of stuns finishes off the remaining peasants again. Dise going to finish off more and more peasants. Meanwhile, the trees are actually engaging and taking down the town halls here. All right, one Goblin Tinker, 3 Treants trying to finish off this town hall here. Meanwhile, Ancient of Wonders taking down an Arcane Vault, a battle of the private shops, as we're still looking at one Wisp off to the north. There's 3 Wisps out across the map still. Mortar teams looking to finish off this Altar of Elders, 8/0 supply, as we're looking at, the pocket the cluster rockets dealing massive, terrible damage across all of these buildings here. The farm taking quite a bit of damage. One shot, however, finishing off each of those buildings there. All right, each shot actually dealing close to 60 damage. For this Goblin Tinker, that little bit of that bonus damage, because he is actually, well, gets bonus damage on 2 buildings. Meanwhile, Ancient of Lore finishes off this building here. Ancient of Wonders trying to finish off another building here. 11 supply army compared to 5, and it is going to really come down to the last remaining buildings in this base race scenario. Ancient of Kings going to get taken down. Ancient of Lore is off over here, but remember, the Ancients can, in fact, well, they are in fact regenerating hit points slowly, and on top of that can eat some additional trees in order to regenerate their hit points even faster. All right, Workshop about to get taken down here. More Ancient of Lore trying to dive on in here as a new lumber mill has been placed down by Hipposaur. 11 supply army as we're looking at, well, stunning, trying to come across multiple buildings here, and now the Goblin Tinker just trying to take down those buildings as easily or as quickly as it can. Gonna have a bit of a problem as this Ancient of Lore trying to, well, retreat away well, who's going to come out on top here? He does have a little bit of hit and run tactics going onto these buildings. You can see every smack dealing quite a bit of damage. Breath of Fire actually adding up that damage rather quickly as well. Another building going to get taken down as the Goblin Tinker escapes away at 200 hit points. All right. Repairs are underway. I totally forgot the Wisp can easily repair. The Goblin Tinker has plenty of plenty to use. Should sell a Staff of Preservation since there's no unit to really try and save any longer. And if he's just able to finish things off, that is going to be a big deal indeed. And wants to hold on to that Staff of Teleportation though, and has 205 gold to try and save. All right, you can see that tree of Ancient of Lore now trying to head off to the north, trying to hide itself amongst the trees here. Going to continue to head off to the north as the Ancient of Wind is dealing quite a bit of damage as well. Ancient of Lore down to 600 hit points, taking those blasts rather, well, consistently, as the Ancient of Wind could try and fight back against this Brewmaster here. Goblin Tinker now back off to the north again. Where is this Ancient of Lore going? Down to 600 hit points, still holding steady. Perhaps needs to see a Wisp to get a little bit of repairs underway as the Goblin Tinker, Robo Goblin, now coming back across to get in more damage onto those barracks. We can see that there is still a lumber mill off over here. Wisps are hiding all across the map. Ancient of Lore continuing to regenerate hit points pretty easily as it's going to head back off to the north and perhaps be able to get away. Altar of Kings down to 180 hit points as well, as the Panda is still trying to chase after that Goblin Tinker. This game going absolutely sideways as the Goblin Tinker needs a bit of mana and also hit points. Why isn't it being repaired? That is the big question indeed, as the Panda keeps on finding that Goblin Tinker and forcing that Goblin Tinker to retreat back home. All right, Spellbreaker coming across the other side here. Is the Mortar team going to be able to get in the necessary damage? Oh, a pig actually got in the way of the Mortar team. The pig had to walk back, shoot the pig, as the Robo now going to go ahead and go after this Mortar team here. One more quick shot, and this Mortar team represents so much damage against those buildings, but is it going to be enough? Finishes off the Mortar team, going to go ahead and Staff of Teleportation down to 110 hit points, able to teleport away, and should really just be repaired by that Wisp. All right, now that Mortar team is gone, I believe the Ancient of Lore and the Ancient of Wind, with their armor and their healing from eating the forest, should actually be able to stay alive. The Mortar teams represented such a change in that overall damage shift, as we're looking at this Ancient of Lore get back up to full hit points and now can start talking the Arcane Sanctum. All right, coming back through, Ancient of Wind trying to take down this barracks here. Another Ancient of Lore joining in on the battle, and Hipposaur with the larger army, well, with a 50% larger army, 5 compared to 8. Well, you don't account for the trees being able to win out on this battle. All right, going to go ahead and finish off another peasant here, making sure that there is no repairs. Earthstorm and Fire now out here onto the battle. A quick cluster rockets dealing a lot of damage to multiple farms here, as there is a new roadway being built inside the base as Dise is able to escape. Continuing to retreat back around here, we're looking at the barracks about to get taken out. Another round of cluster rockets perhaps onto the buildings, and you can see multiple buildings nearly taken down as they try to retreat back. Still having plenty of gold. Dise could try and retreat, but you have to be careful here, as there is Cyclone on Storm, who could actually stop the channeling and then finish off that Goblin Tinker. All right, trying to finish off this Arcane Sanctum. 2 more shots should do it. 1 more shot will do it. It gets taken out, and now trying to finish off more of these buildings. There's another round of cluster rockets, finishing off 2 more buildings there, and now trying to take down the Arcane Sanctum here and here. There are still 1 building left off to the north by Hipposaur. Is it going to get finished off? That is the question, as Dise now needs to run away. Staff of Teleportation, where is it going to teleport off to? Teleporting off to the north there, and Dise was defeated, losing his last building. Dise losing his last building right there, not building a Moonwell, and Hipposaur gets the win. No, not rest in peace, Hipposaur. Hipposaur won. He could have built something else. Yes, he could have built something else. And that is the game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you guys thought of about that game right there. Storm could have easily cycloned the Goblin Tinker and gotten him taken out. That additional lumber mill inside the base, the starting base of Dise, was never taken down, and that was the game there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.